It's 7:30. Teeth are brushed, pajamas are on, and you just close the third book. You stand up and right on cue, she's out of bed wanting water, then a song, plus one more check on the cat before you're allowed to leave. 45 minutes later, you're crawling out of her room on your hands and knees, praying the floor doesn't creak. By 9, you're on the couch with cold dinner, wondering if this is going to be your life forever. Bedtime is the daily war. But most of the habits wrecking your toddler's sleep aren't the ones you'd guess, and you're probably doing a few of them right now. Number 7 is the one I'd change first if I could only change one thing. Habit number 1, you're focused on the wrong end of the day. A toddler's body runs on an internal clock, and that clock gets set in the morning by when she opens her eyes. If she's waking at 6 on weekdays and 8 on weekends, her body is getting jet lagged twice a week, every week. Pick a wake up window of about 30 minutes and protect it as hard as the bedtime itself, including weekends. Wake up time sets her body's clock. Habit 2 scrambles the chemicals that clock runs on. Habit number 2, screens in the last hour before bed. I know, the tablet is how you survive the dinner to bath stretch. But there's a reason she gets that weird, wired but exhausted energy after screen time ends. Screens are doing two things to her body at once. The blue light suppresses melatonin, which is the hormone that should be rising right now to make her sleepy. And the stimulation from whatever she's watching, even the gentle Bluey episode, spikes cortisol, which is the body's stress hormone. Her system is getting a daytime signal and an excitement signal in the same moment. Then you turn the iPad off and ask her to go to sleep. Of course she can't. Her nervous system is at a rock concert. Enya Kamenetz, in her book The Art of Screen Time, puts it bluntly. If you're only going to enforce one screen rule, make it no screens in the hour before bed and none in the bedroom at all. That means every night, including weekends and vacations. But even if you nailed screens perfectly, habit 3 can wreck bedtime from the inside. Habit number 3, you're trying to put her down during her second wind. You know that moment around 6:37 when she suddenly gets hyper, running laps around the couch and bouncing off everything. That's a cortisol spike. Her body has registered she's overtired and is pumping stress hormones to keep her upright. Try to put her to bed during that wave, and you'll lose. You have to catch her before it hits, which usually means starting bath 30 minutes earlier than feels right, or ride it out with a quiet low stimulation reset and try again when her body settles. Those 3 are about her biology. The next 3 are about us, and they're harder because we do them out of love. Habit number 4, lying in bed with her until she falls asleep. It feels like the gentlest, most loving move available. She asks you to stay, so you stay, and she drifts off with you there. The cost shows up at 2 a.m. By staying until she's asleep, you become her sleep association. Her brain has learned that the specific thing that puts her to sleep is you, in that bed, at that moment. So when she cycles to a lighter sleep stage in the middle of the night, which happens to all of us, she wakes up, finds you gone, and her brain goes code red. Where's my sleep person? She calls for you, every single night, usually twice. A friend of mine had this exact problem with her 2.5-year-old. Every night she'd lie there waiting for her daughter's eyelids to droop, then do an agonizing slow motion retreat, freezing every time the mattress creaked. It was destroying her evenings. She finally flipped the script. Instead of staying until her daughter fell asleep, she'd tuck her in and say, I need to go load the dishwasher. I'll come check on you in a few minutes. Then she'd actually come back to check on her, and leave again a minute later for something else. By the third check-in, her daughter was out. The little girl knew her mom was coming back. She didn't need to fight sleep to keep her there. Getting her to fall asleep solo is half the battle. The hour leading up to bedtime is the other half. Habit number 5, no wind down ramp. Bedtime in most houses runs like a cliff. Dinner, bath, story, lights out, done. But little bodies can't switch gears that fast. If the 30 minutes before bath was loud and chaotic, with dad doing airplane spins in the living room, her nervous system is still revving by the time pajamas are on. She's running laps around the couch in her head, nowhere close to sleepy. The hour before bed should get quieter and slower in stages. Turn down the living room lights, put the noisy toys in the closet, and save roughhousing for the morning. Think of it as a glide path into sleep, rather than a diving board off it. Even with a perfect glide path, there's one thing that'll keep her wired all the way through it. Habit number 6, the endless negotiation. She asks for another book, a song, some water, a check on the cat, and a back rub, all before she'll even consider closing her eyes. Every yes feels tiny and harmless. But she's looking for the wall. That's what the endless asking is really about. Toddlers feel safer when they know where the edge of the rules actually is, because the edge is what tells them an adult is in charge. If she can push that edge further every night by asking for one more thing, there is no edge, and her brain stays on alert looking for one instead of letting go. One parenting writer has an image I love for this. When your kid darts toward a parking lot, you don't debate it with her, you take her hand and keep walking. The clarity is what keeps her safe. Bedtime works the same way. 2 books means 2 books, warmly held to. The certainty itself is what lets her body relax enough to fall asleep. Those 6 are the ones most of us have heard. The last four are what I had to figure out on my own, starting with the one that underlies every other habit on this list. Habit number 7. The secret variable in bedtime isn't her routine, it's your nervous system. Toddlers don't regulate their own emotional state yet. They borrow yours. Picture her nervous system as a thermostat that hasn't been installed. She can't set her own temperature, so she reads the room, and the room is you. So on the nights you've had the day from hell, and you're half in the bedtime routine, but half rehearsing the work email you need to send the second she's down, she feels every bit of it. You can run the perfect routine, dim lights, soft voice, all of it, and if your insides are buzzing, she'll buzz right along with you. Dr. Laura Markham, who wrote Peaceful Parent, Happy Kids, puts it plainly. Your child depends on your mood to regulate her own. 3 slow breaths in the hallway before you walk in will do more than any sticker chart ever will. After that, the last 3 are small. Physical fixes to her room, plus 1 swap in how you talk to her at lights out. Habit number 8. The nightlight color. Most toddlers need a nightlight because pitch black rooms are scary at this age. The problem is usually the bulb color. Any bright white or blue tinted nightlight does the same thing screens do. It suppresses melatonin and signals daytime to her brain. The fix is a dim red or amber bulb. Red light doesn't block melatonin the way blue light does, and it gives her enough to see that the monsters aren't real without lighting up the room like a hospital hallway. $10 swap that can easily add 30 minutes to her sleep. Habit number 9. The room is too warm. Toddlers sleep best in a cool room, around 65 to 70 Fahrenheit, which is 18 to 22 Celsius. Body temperature has to drop slightly to trigger melatonin, and if her room is 75 degrees with a fleece sleep sack on, she physically cannot cool down enough to get sleepy. If you've done everything else right and she's still tossing for an hour, check her thermostat before you check anything else. Last one, and it's the language swap I mentioned earlier. Habit number 10. You're telling her to try to fall asleep. Just close your eyes, sweetheart, try to go to sleep. But this runs into the same wall as habit 7. Sleep is something her body produces on its own, and no amount of effort on her part can speed it up. Adults know this from those 3 a.m. nights where the command "just sleep" kept us up for another hour. Same thing happens to her, except she doesn't have the words to explain that sleep now feels like a test she's failing. Instead of telling her to sleep, tell her that her only job is to lie still and keep her body quiet. Sleep will arrive on its own when it's ready. Taking the pressure off is often what lets it happen. So that's the 10. And if you're sitting there going, "Oh God, I do 6 of these, please hear me," you are not failing. The advice we've all absorbed about toddler sleep is a mess, stitched together from outdated baby manuals, random Instagram posts, and whatever your mother-in-law swears worked in 1985. You've been flying blind. Pick 2 of these. Just the 2 that hit you hardest when I said them, whatever those were, change them this week and see what happens. If one of these changes a night in your house, tell me which one in the comments. I read them. Subscribe if you want more of this. I make 1 video a week for moms who are tired of advice that sounds like it was written by someone who's never had a toddler. See you in the next one.